Hello, and welcome to this Divine Slumber Bible bedtime story. Tonight, as the world grows quiet and the weight of the day begins to soften, I invite you to settle gently into your rest. Feel the surface beneath you, the quiet support of your bed, the stillness in the air around you. Above you, imagine a vast night sky, deep and endless, scattered with soft, shimmering stars that seem to breathe with a slow and ancient rhythm. Breathe slowly now. Let your body grow heavy. Let your thoughts drift like clouds across a silent sky. There is a peace available to you in this moment, a peace that does not depend on what happened today or what may come tomorrow. A peace that flows from something deeper, something eternal, something that has never left you. Tonight, we step into one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring journeys ever recorded in Scripture. There was once a man, a priest, living far from home, sitting beside a quiet river in a foreign land. His world had been shattered, his temple destroyed, his future uncertain. And yet, it was there, in that place of loss and exile, that the heavens opened. But the most unsettling moment was not the vision of wheels, not the throne of fire, not even the creatures of light. It was this: a command. Son of man, eat what is before you. Before him lay a scroll, covered in sorrow, mourning, and warning, and he was told to swallow it, not read it, not carry it, but eat it. He saw things no human had ever seen before, wheels within wheels turning in impossible ways, creatures with many faces watching in every direction, a throne of fire and light, radiant beyond words, and a voice, calm, powerful, calling him by name. Some have wondered, were these visions of angels? Others have asked, was it something beyond our understanding entirely? But tonight, you do not need to solve the mystery. You only need to rest within it. Because this story is not meant to disturb you. It is meant to remind you that even in the darkest places, God is still present. Even in exile, God still speaks. Even when everything feels lost, you are not forgotten. So you don't need to watch. You don't need to hold on to every detail. Just close your eyes, let your breathing slow, and allow the story to gently unfold around you, like a quiet river, like a distant whisper, like a dream that carries you somewhere safe. And as you listen, you may begin to feel it, a soft stillness settling over your heart, a quiet assurance that you are being watched over, that you are safe, that you are held, that you are not alone. Tonight, we will walk through the visions of Ezekiel, step by step, image by image, not with urgency, but with peace, not with fear, but with wonder. So breathe deeply. Let the world fall away, and step softly now into the visions of the prophet, the man who saw the heavens open and was never the same again. In this very moment, open your heart and receive the peace that is coming. Now, before we go any further, before the visions begin to unfold and the images gently take shape in your mind, I invite you to take a quiet moment to prepare yourself for rest, to create a small space of comfort and calm where your body can fully let go and your mind can begin to soften. There is nothing you need to do perfectly here, nothing you need to get right, only a gentle settling, a slow and peaceful arriving into this moment. Allow yourself to shift slightly, just enough to find a position that feels natural and easy, perhaps rolling your shoulders back just a little, releasing any weight that has been resting there throughout the day, or stretching your legs ever so gently before letting them fall into a place where they no longer need to hold any tension. Take your time with this, moving slowly, listening to your body as if it were speaking in a quiet whisper, guiding you toward comfort. Now bring your attention to your pillow, and if needed, adjust it softly beneath your head, lifting it just enough to cradle your neck in a way that feels supportive and effortless. Let your head sink into it, allowing the muscles in your neck to release. And notice your jaw, often held tight without awareness, and gently allow it to loosen, letting your tongue rest naturally, your face becoming smooth and calm. If you have a blanket nearby, draw it a little closer around you, feeling its warmth settle over your body like a gentle covering, like something protective and steady, something that asks nothing of you but simply offers comfort. Notice how it rests over you, light or heavy, and let that sensation remind you that in this moment, you are safe, completely safe, with nothing to guard against and nowhere you need to be. If the room around you is still bright, you may wish to dim the lights or turn them off entirely, allowing the space to grow softer, quieter, wrapped in a gentle darkness that does not feel empty, but peaceful, like the deep stillness of night, where everything begins to slow and rest. Let your eyes grow heavier in that dimness, even if they are already closed, as though the darkness itself is inviting you to drift. Notice any sounds around you, distant or near, perhaps the faint hum of something in the background, or the quiet movement of air. And instead of resisting them, simply let them exist, like waves far away on a distant shore, rising and falling without disturbing you. You are not pulled by them, not distracted by them, only aware that they are there while you remain here, calm and undisturbed. Now bring your awareness gently back to your body, to the surface beneath you, holding you completely, supporting every part of your weight so that you do not need to hold yourself up in any way. Let your shoulders sink deeper, your arms resting heavily at your sides, your hands loose and soft, your fingers naturally curled without effort. Feel your chest rise and fall in a slow and steady rhythm, not forced, not controlled, just happening on its own. As you lie here, you may begin to notice a subtle shift, a soft unwinding within you, like tight places slowly loosening, like the day gently releasing its hold. Thoughts may still come and go, small fragments of memory or worry, but you do not need to follow them. Only allow them to drift, like leaves floating along a quiet river, passing by without asking anything of you. Breathe slowly now, and with each breath, feel yourself settling just a little deeper, a little heavier, a little more at ease. And in this quiet stillness, you may begin to sense something more, something gentle and steady, a presence that does not press in, but simply remains, calm and watchful. God is watching over you, even here, even now. And there is a quiet comfort in that truth, a reassurance that you are not alone, that you are held in a way that goes beyond what you can see. Let that thought rest softly in your mind, like a whisper carried through the night, and allow your body to respond by letting go just a little more. You are safe. You are held. You are at peace, and there is nowhere else you need to go. Nothing else you need to do. Only remain here in this stillness as your body grows heavy and your mind grows quiet, preparing gently to drift into the story that is about to unfold. Now, as your body begins to settle and your surroundings grow quiet, we gently turn our attention to the rhythm that has been with you all along. Your breathing. There is nothing you need to change all at once, nothing you need to force or control. Only a soft awareness, like noticing the rise and fall of waves on a calm shore. Your breath has carried you through every moment of this day, and now it will guide you into rest. Begin by simply noticing it, the gentle inhale, the quiet exhale, the natural rhythm that flows without effort. Perhaps your breath feels shallow at first or slightly uneven, and that is perfectly okay. There is no judgment here, only observation. Just become aware of the air as it enters your body, cool and soft, and then leaves again, warm and slow. Now, very gently, begin to deepen your breath, just a little. Allow your inhale to stretch slightly longer, as though you were sipping in the air, slow and steady, filling your lungs without strain. Feel your chest expand, your ribs widening, your body making space for calm. And then release the breath slowly, letting it flow out without rushing, like a quiet sigh carried into the night. Breathe in slowly now, and out gently. Again, breathe in, slow and deep, and out, soft and long. Let each inhale be like an invitation, and each exhale a release. As you continue this gentle rhythm, you may begin to notice your body responding. With every breath in, there is a quiet sense of renewal, a soft gathering of peace. And with every breath out, tension begins to dissolve, slipping away without resistance. The shoulders soften, the chest loosens. The weight of the day begins to fade. Breathe in slowly, filling your body with calm. And breathe out, letting go of everything you no longer need. If it feels comfortable, you can begin to follow a soft pattern now, letting your inhale count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then your exhale gently to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Allowing the out-breath to be just a little longer, a little deeper, guiding your body further into rest. There is no need to be exact, no need to count perfectly. Just let the rhythm guide you. Longer in, slower out, like a tide that moves with quiet certainty. As you breathe, imagine the air carrying something with it, something gentle, something healing. With every inhale, picture a soft light entering your body, warm and steady, filling the spaces within you that feel tight or tired. And with every exhale, imagine that same light washing away tension, carrying it out of you, dissolving it into the stillness around you. Breathe in, light and calm, and breathe out, release and rest. Again, breathe in and out. With each cycle, your body grows heavier, more at ease, as though you were slowly sinking into a place of perfect comfort. Your thoughts begin to quiet, no longer rushing or pulling at your attention, but drifting softly, like distant echoes fading into silence. And as your breathing continues, slow and steady, you may begin to sense something deeper within the rhythm. Not just air moving in and out, but life itself. a gentle reminder that you are sustained moment by moment, breath by breath. You do not need to hold everything together. You do not need to carry the weight alone. God is near, closer than your next breath. And with each inhale, you receive. And with each exhale, you rest. You are safe. You are held. You are being watched over. Let those words settle into the rhythm of your breathing, as natural and effortless as the air itself. There is nothing to prove, nothing to strive for, only this moment, this breath, this quiet presence surrounding you. Continue breathing slowly now, in and out, softly, gently. Allow the rhythm to become automatic again, no longer something you think about, but something that carries you, like a calm current guiding you forward. Your body knows how to rest. Your breath knows how to lead you there. And as you follow it, you drift a little deeper, a little calmer, a little closer to sleep. And when you are ready, we will gently continue into the story. Now, as your breathing becomes slower and more steady, we gently bring your awareness deeper into your body, allowing each part of you to soften, to release, to rest. There is no effort required here, only a quiet willingness to let go, little by little, as though your body already knows the way and you are simply following its lead. Begin with your forehead, that small space where thoughts often gather without you even noticing. Let it smooth out now, as if a gentle hand were brushing away every line of tension. Your brow softens. Your eyes rest more deeply in their sockets, and the tiny muscles around them begin to release. You do not need to focus on anything anymore, so your eyes can grow heavy, calm, and still. Let that softness move down to your cheeks, your jaw, your mouth. Notice if there is any tightness there, any subtle holding, and allow it to melt. Let your teeth part slightly, your tongue resting naturally, no longer pressing, no longer working. Your whole face becomes quiet, peaceful, at ease. Now bring your awareness to your neck, often carrying more weight than it should. Feel it supported by your pillow, held gently, needing no effort from you. Let the muscles there loosen, lengthen, and rest. And from there, allow that release to flow into your shoulders, those strong places that have carried the burdens of the day. Let them drop, just a little more, as though they are sinking into the surface beneath you, no longer needing to hold anything up. Your arms follow naturally, growing heavier, softer. Feel them resting beside you, completely supported. Your upper arms relax. Your elbows soften. Your forearms sink deeper, and your hands, so often active, so often moving, now become still. Let your fingers uncurl, loose and gentle, as though they are floating in warm water, without effort, without tension. Now bring your attention to your chest. Notice the slow rise and fall with each breath, the steady rhythm that continues without you needing to think about it. Let your chest soften, open, free from any tightness. And just beneath it, your heart beating quietly, faithfully, carrying you through every moment. There is nothing you need to do here, only to allow it to continue, steady and calm. Let that sense of release move into your back, from your upper back down through your spine. Imagine each vertebra settling into place, supported, aligned, at rest. If there is any tension there, any lingering tightness, Let it dissolve, as though it is being gently carried away with each exhale. Now your stomach, your abdomen, the place where so many emotions are held. Allow it to soften completely. Let go of any need to hold it in or brace it. Let it rise and fall naturally with your breath, easy and unforced. There is nothing to protect, nothing to guard. You are safe. Feel that wave of relaxation continue downward into your hips, heavy and grounded, sinking into the surface beneath you. Your thighs follow, large muscles releasing their strength, no longer needing to support or move, simply resting. Your knees soften, free of any tension, and your lower legs grow heavier, more still. Bring your awareness to your feet now, often forgotten, yet carrying you through the entire day. Let them relax completely. Your ankles loose, your heels sinking, the soles of your feet soft and at ease. Even your toes can let go, releasing any last traces of tension, becoming light, calm, and still. Now take a moment to feel your whole body at once. From the top of your head to the tips of your toes, everything is supported. Everything is softening. Everything is at rest. There is a gentle heaviness settling over you, not uncomfortable, but soothing, like being held securely, like being wrapped in quiet stillness. And as your body rests, you may begin to notice a deeper sense of peace spreading within you, a calm that does not come from effort, but from letting go. You are not holding anything up anymore. You are not bracing, not preparing, not striving. You are simply here, fully supported, fully safe. God is watching over you, even now, in this stillness. You are safe. You are held. You can rest. Let those words settle into your body, as real as the surface beneath you, as steady as your breath. There is nothing left to release, nothing left to adjust. You have arrived at a place of quiet, of calm, of gentle rest. And as you remain here, your body heavy and your mind soft, you may feel yourself drifting just a little deeper, carried by this stillness, held within it, ready now to gently move forward into the story. And now, as your body rests deeply and your breath flows in a slow, steady rhythm, we begin to drift, gently, almost without effort, from this quiet stillness into something more. There is no sudden shift, no sharp change to pull you out of your calm, only a soft unfolding, like the gradual turning of a page, where one world slowly fades and another begins to appear. You are still here, safe, supported, at peace. And yet, at the same time, you may begin to feel as though you are being carried, slowly, quietly, as if your thoughts are floating on a calm and endless current. Breathe slowly now. Let that feeling deepen. Let it carry you. With each gentle breath, the space around you begins to soften and blur, not disappearing all at once, but drifting further into the background, becoming distant, like a memory that no longer asks for your attention. The room you are in grows quiet and far away, and in its place, something new begins to form, something vast and still and ancient. At first, it is only a feeling, a sense of openness, of space stretching outward in every direction. And then, slowly, an image begins to take shape, like a dream rising gently from the darkness. You find yourself beside a river. It moves slowly, thick and steady, its surface reflecting a wide and endless sky above. The water is not rushing, not loud, but calm and deliberate, as though it has been flowing this way for centuries, unhurried, unchanging. The air is warm but heavy, carrying with it the quiet weight of a distant land, a land far from home. This is a place of stillness, a place where time slows, a place where something waits. Breathe in slowly and out gently. You remain safe here, only observing, only resting within the unfolding of this scene. There is no crowd, no movement of people, no sound of busy life, only the river, the open sky, and the quiet presence that seems to fill the space, unseen yet unmistakable. It is not overwhelming, not frightening, but steady, watchful, like something ancient that has always been there. And then, just a short distance away, you begin to notice someone. A man sits near the edge of the river, his figure still against the wide landscape. His posture is calm, yet there is a quiet heaviness in the way he rests, as though he carries something unseen, something deep within him. His clothing is simple, worn by time and travel, and his gaze is fixed upon the water, lost in thought. This is a man who has known loss, a man who has been taken far from home, a man who has waited and wondered and listened. His name is Ezekiel. Let that image settle softly in your mind. You do not need to approach him. You do not need to speak. You are simply here, present, watching, resting within the quiet unfolding of his story. The river continues to flow. The sky remains vast above, and everything feels suspended in a moment that stretches gently, endlessly. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, something begins to change. At first, it is only a shift in the air, a faint stirring, like the first whisper of wind before anything can be seen. The stillness becomes different, no longer empty but charged, alive, as though the world itself is beginning to awaken. Ezekiel feels it. You can sense it in the way his body grows more alert, in the subtle lift of his head, in the way his attention shifts from the river to something beyond it, something unseen but undeniable. The wind begins to rise, not all at once, not violently, but steadily, building with quiet power. It moves across the surface of the water, creating soft ripples, disturbing the perfect stillness. The air grows heavier, thicker, filled with a presence that cannot be ignored. The sky begins to change. At the edges, where it once stretched clear and open, darkness begins to gather. Not like ordinary clouds, but something deeper, something more alive. It moves with intention, forming, shaping, drawing closer. Breathe in slowly and out gently. You are still safe, still at rest, only witnessing what unfolds. The wind continues to rise, stronger now, carrying with it a sense of awe, of power, of something far beyond human understanding. And within that gathering storm, faint at first, then growing clearer, there is light. Not soft like sunlight, not flickering like fire, but brilliant, radiant, alive. It pulses from within the darkness, shining through it, not consumed by it, but transforming it. Colors begin to flicker, shapes begin to form, and though your mind may not fully understand what it sees, there is no fear, only wonder. Ezekiel does not turn away, and neither do you, because something sacred is beginning, something ancient, something divine. So remain here, breathe slowly, Let yourself be carried, gently, deeper, into the moment when the heavens begin to open and the presence of God draws near. And now, as the wind begins to gather and the sky slowly shifts above the quiet river, let us gently step back, just for a moment, and come to understand the man who sits at its edge. Not the prophet, as he will soon become, not the one who sees visions beyond imagination, but the man he was before the heavens opened, before the voice called his name. Breathe slowly now. Let the scene soften. Let the story deepen. Ezekiel was not always a man of visions. Once, he was simply a young priest. Born into a sacred lineage, the line of Aaron, he had been raised with purpose from the very beginning. His life had been carefully shaped, guided by tradition, by ritual, by the quiet and steady rhythm of service in the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem. From childhood, he would have learned the sacred laws, the offerings, the prayers spoken in hushed reverence before the altar. He knew what his life was meant to be. He would serve in the temple. He would stand before God. He would guide the people in worship. There was clarity in that calling. There was stability. There was peace. But that life was taken from him. Breathe in slowly and out gently. In the year when the great empire of Babylon rose in power, everything changed. The armies came like a storm, sweeping across the land with a force that could not be resisted. The city of Jerusalem, once strong and filled with life, fell under siege. Its walls were broken, its gates destroyed, and the temple, the very heart of Israel's faith, was plundered and left in ruin. The place where Ezekiel was meant to serve, gone. The altar, silent. The presence of normal life, shattered. And Ezekiel, still young, was taken. He was carried far from his home, far from everything he had known, marched across vast distances into a foreign land, into Babylon. The journey itself was long and heavy, filled with uncertainty, with loss, with the quiet grief of leaving behind a life that could never be returned to. When he arrived, he was no longer a priest in the temple. He was an exile. Let that word settle. Exile. Displaced. Separated. He found himself living among others like him, people who had also lost everything. People who sat by the rivers of Babylon and remembered what once was. They spoke of Jerusalem, of the temple, of the songs they used to sing, and many of them wept, unable to understand why this had happened. Some asked questions that had no easy answers. Had God abandoned them? Had he forgotten his promises? Was his presence still with them, or had it remained behind in the ruins of the temple? Breathe slowly now. The river beside them, the Kabar River, flowed quietly through this foreign land, its waters thick and unmoving, reflecting a sky that often felt distant and silent. This was not the land they knew. This was not the place where they believed God dwelled. And for Ezekiel, the loss was deeper still. He had been trained for something sacred, prepared for a life of purpose, and now that purpose seemed gone. There was no altar to serve, no temple to enter, no clear path ahead. Only silence. Days turned into months, months into years, and still there was no voice. For 5 long years, Ezekiel lived in that quiet uncertainty, watching his people struggle, watching hope fade in the hearts of those around him. He carried questions within himself, questions he may not have spoken aloud, but which lingered in the stillness of his thoughts. What now? What does it mean to serve God in a place like this? Can God still be found so far from everything that was holy? Breathe in slowly and out gently. And yet, beneath all the uncertainty, something remained. A quiet awareness, a subtle presence, unseen but not absent. Because even in exile, God had not left. Even in silence, God was still near. Ezekiel did not yet know what was coming. He did not yet understand that the loss he had experienced was not the end of his calling, but the beginning of something far greater than he could have imagined. He sat by the river, waiting, wondering, and perhaps listening. The sky above him stretched wide and still. The air remained heavy and unmoving. But everything was about to change. Because in a moment, unexpected, unstoppable, the heavens would open, and the young priest, who thought his story had ended, would become the prophet who would see the glory of God. And now, as Ezekiel sits by the river, as the weight of exile rests quietly upon his shoulders, as the silence of unanswered questions stretches across the days, something begins to shift. It does not come with warning. It does not arrive gently. It comes suddenly, like a breaking. Breathe slowly now. Let the moment unfold. The air, once still and heavy, begins to move. At first, it is only a whisper, a faint stirring that brushes against the surface of the river, barely noticeable, like the soft inhale before a word is spoken. But then, it grows. The wind begins to rise. Not a gentle breeze, not a passing gust, but a rushing, powerful wind coming from the north. It builds with intensity, sweeping across the land with a force that feels alive, as though it carries something within it, something vast, something approaching. The reeds along the riverbank bend under its strength. The dust lifts into the air, spiraling and twisting, and the sky above begins to darken. Ezekiel feels it, not just with his eyes, but deep within him. The hairs on his arms rise, his breath catches, his heart begins to pound. This is no ordinary storm. The sky shifts, no longer calm, no longer distant, but alive with movement. A great cloud forms, massive and dark, rolling forward with terrifying speed, filling the horizon. And within that darkness, there is light. Not soft, not fading, but brilliant, fierce, uncontainable. It flickers and pulses from within the cloud like fire folding in upon itself, like something burning without being consumed. Colors flash, amber, bronze, molten gold, white-hot silver, shimmering in ways that no earthly flame could ever imitate. Breathe in slowly and out gently. You are only watching, only witnessing. The storm draws closer. The sound begins to rise, low at first, like a distant rumble, then growing louder, deeper, until it becomes something overwhelming, something that fills the air completely. It is like the roar of many waters, like waves crashing against unseen shores, like the voice of something ancient and powerful speaking without words. Ezekiel cannot move. He cannot look away. He is caught in the moment, suspended between fear and awe, between the instinct to flee and the pull to remain. Every part of him knows that what he is seeing, what he is feeling, is beyond anything he has ever known. This is not weather. This is presence. The cloud churns as it approaches, the fire within it blazing brighter, the light becoming almost unbearable to behold. Lightning flashes from its core, sharp and blinding, illuminating the land in brief, brilliant bursts, casting shadows that vanish as quickly as they appear. And then, within the light, shapes begin to form. At first, they are only shadows, movements within the fire, indistinct and shifting. But as the storm draws nearer, as the radiance grows stronger, those shapes begin to take form, clearer, more defined. Ezekiel's breath trembles, because he realizes these are not clouds. These are not flames. These are beings. 4 of them, massive, powerful, moving with a precision that feels deliberate, intentional, unified. They do not stumble, they do not hesitate. They move like lightning itself, appearing and shifting with a speed that the eye struggles to follow. The sound intensifies, the rushing wind, the crackling fire, the roar like waters, all of it merging into something overwhelming, something that seems to press against the very air itself. Ezekiel falls to his knees. His strength leaves him, not in weakness, but in recognition. His body responds before his mind can understand, overcome by the sheer weight of what stands before him. His breath comes in shallow waves, his hands tremble, and yet he cannot look away. Because deep within the storm, within the fire, within the light, he knows. This is the presence of God, not distant, not confined to a temple, not hidden behind walls or rituals, but here, in Babylon, in exile, by this quiet river. Breathe slowly now. Let that truth settle. God has not remained behind in the ruins of Jerusalem. He has not abandoned his people. He has not gone silent. He has come. The heavens have opened. And Ezekiel, the young priest who thought his calling had ended, now stands, kneels at the beginning of something far greater than he could ever have imagined. The storm is not destruction. It is revelation. The fire is not chaos. It is glory. And the voice, though not yet spoken, is already near. So remain here. Stay within this moment, as the light grows brighter, as the presence draws closer, and prepare, gently, for what Ezekiel is about to see next. And now, as the storm surrounds him, as the fire pulses and the light grows brighter, Ezekiel lifts his eyes, trembling, breath unsteady, and begins to see more clearly what stands within the radiance. At first, it is overwhelming, too much to take in all at once. Shapes moving within light, forms within fire. But slowly, gently, his vision steadies. And what he sees is beyond anything he has ever known. Breathe slowly now. Let the image come into focus. There are 4 living beings. They stand within the fire, not consumed by it, but alive within it, moving with a grace and power that feels both terrifying and beautiful. Their presence fills the space, not chaotic, not wild, but ordered, intentional, as though every movement is guided by a will far greater than their own. At a distance, they seem almost human. They stand upright. They have form, structure, but as Ezekiel looks closer, that resemblance begins to fade. Because these are not men. Each of the 4 creatures has not one face, but 4. 4 faces, looking in every direction at once. Let that settle. There is no turning of the head, no shifting of the gaze. They see all directions, all at once. The first face is the face of a man, calm, steady, filled with quiet understanding. Its eyes are deep, reflective, as though they see not only what is visible but what lies beneath. There is wisdom there, ancient, unshaken, a reminder of humanity created in the image of God. The second face is that of a lion, fierce, powerful, unyielding. Its presence carries authority, the strength of something that fears nothing, that rules without question. Its eyes burn with intensity, with courage, with a quiet and undeniable dominance. The third face is that of an ox, strong, patient, enduring, a creature of labor, of service, steady and faithful. There is no haste in its gaze, no pride, only a deep and grounded strength, the kind that carries burdens without complaint. And the fourth face is that of an eagle, sharp, watchful, lifted toward the heavens. Its eyes are keen, piercing, able to see what lies far beyond reach. There is swiftness here, clarity, a sense of movement that belongs not to the earth but to the sky. Man, lion, ox, eagle. Together, they hold something complete. All of creation, the wild, the tame, the earth, the heavens. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel does not fully understand, but he feels it. These beings are not random. They are not separate. They are connected, unified. Guardians, perhaps. Servants, certainly. Their bodies shine like burnished bronze, glowing in the firelight, as though they have been forged, not born, shaped by divine hands rather than formed by flesh. Their surface is smooth, radiant, reflecting the light around them in waves of gold and amber. Their legs are straight, unmoving, like pillars, steady and unshaken. And where their feet touch the ground, there are hooves, like those of a calf, gleaming, polished, shining with a light of their own. Everything about them speaks of strength, of stability, of something unchanging. And then there are their wings. Each creature has 4 wings. 2 stretch upward, reaching toward the heavens above, and 2 extend outward, touching the wings of the others, so that together they form something like a canopy, a covering, a single unified presence made of 4 distinct beings. When they stand still, there is a quiet power in their stillness. But when they move, the sound is overwhelming. It is like thunder, like rushing waters, like the voice of something vast and eternal. It fills the air, it vibrates through the ground, it echoes within Ezekiel's chest. Breathe slowly now. Let the sound fade into awe, not fear, because beneath the wings, there is something else. Hands. Human hands. Gentle, precise, capable. These are not mindless forces. They are not creatures of chaos. They are intelligent, purposeful, aware. And then, Ezekiel sees something that causes his breath to catch, something even more overwhelming than all that has come before. Eyes. Everywhere, covering their bodies, their wings, watching, seeing. Nothing is hidden from them. No movement, no thought, no shadow. Everything is seen. Everything is known. Ezekiel feels exposed, completely seen, as though every part of him, every hidden thought, every unspoken fear is laid bare before these beings. And yet, there is no condemnation, only awareness, only knowing, only presence. Breathe in slowly and out gently. The creatures move, but they do not turn. They do not shift or adjust as humans do. Instead, they move straight forward, in any direction, instantly, seamlessly, guided by the face that leads. If the man looks forward, they go forward. If the eagle looks to the side, they move there, without hesitation, without confusion. Perfect unity, perfect obedience, like lightning, like thought, like will made visible. Ezekiel watches, overwhelmed, unable to fully comprehend, and yet unable to deny what he sees. These are not creatures of earth. These are beings of heaven, messengers, guardians, servants of the living God. And they stand now before him, in fire, in light, in glory. So remain here, breathe slowly, and let the image settle deeply within you. For this is only the beginning, and there is still more to be revealed. And now, as Ezekiel continues to look upon the living creatures, as their wings stretch wide and their presence fills the air with awe and trembling, his gaze begins to lower, slowly, almost instinctively, toward the ground beneath them. And what he sees there is no less mysterious, no less overwhelming. Breathe slowly now. Let the image unfold. Beside each of the four living beings there is a wheel. At first it seems simple, something familiar, something the mind can recognize. A wheel, a shape known, a form understood. But as Ezekiel's eyes focus, as the light from the fire reflects upon them, he realizes these are not like any wheels on earth. They shimmer like precious stone, like something formed not by human hands but by divine design. Their appearance glows with a color difficult to name, something like golden green, like sunlight passing through deep water, alive with light, shifting and moving as the fire dances around them. But it is not their beauty that stirs his spirit. It is their form. Each wheel is not alone. There is another wheel within it, intersecting, crossing through, a wheel within a wheel, set at angles that should not exist, forming a structure that defies understanding. One wheel stands upright, the other cuts through it, horizontal, and yet both remain whole, both remain complete, as though they exist beyond the limits of what the human mind can grasp. Ezekiel stares, trying to understand, trying to find meaning, but there is nothing in his experience that can explain what he sees. Breathe in slowly and out gently. And then the wheels begin to move. But they do not roll, they do not turn. They glide, effortlessly, silently at first, then with a growing sound that echoes through the air. When the creatures move, the wheels move with them, perfectly aligned, perfectly connected, as though bound together by something unseen. If the creatures move forward, the wheels move forward. If they shift to the side, the wheels follow instantly. There is no turning, no adjusting, no delay. They move in every direction at once, as though direction itself has no hold over them. It is as if they exist beyond the rules of the world Ezekiel knows, as if they move not through space, but through something deeper, something unseen. And then he notices something that causes his breath to catch. The rims of the wheels, the outer edges, are high, towering, rising upward, and covering them all around are eyes. Eyes upon the wheels, eyes without number, watching, seeing, aware. Every inch of their surface is alive with sight. Nothing escapes them, No corner, no shadow, no hidden place. Everything is visible. Everything is known. Ezekiel feels it again, that same overwhelming awareness, the sense that he is fully seen, not just in body, but in spirit, in thought, in the quiet places within him that he has never spoken aloud. And yet, there is no fear that overwhelms him, only wonder, only awe. Breathe slowly now. The wheels rise. As the living creatures lift from the ground, so do the wheels. Not left behind, not separate, but rising with them, moving as one. When the creatures stop, the wheels stop. When they move, the wheels follow. They are not tools. They are not objects. They are alive. The same spirit that moves within the creatures moves within the wheels. They are bound together, inseparable, a single expression of something far greater than either alone. And now, the sound begins to grow. As the wheels move, they produce a noise like rushing waters, like a great river crashing over stone, like the distant roar of something vast and unstoppable. It fills the air, deep and powerful, echoing through the space around Ezekiel, vibrating through the ground beneath him. It is not chaotic. It is not wild. It is ordered. It is purposeful. The sound of movement, guided by divine will. Ezekiel begins to understand, not fully, but enough to feel the truth beneath what he sees. These wheels, they are not merely part of the vision. They are a revelation. They speak of movement, of presence, of a God who is not still, not confined, not limited. A God who moves, who sees, who is everywhere at once. The temple may be gone, Jerusalem may lie in ruins, but God is not bound to stone or place. He is here. He is moving. He is present, even in exile. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Let that truth settle. The wheels continue to move. The light continues to shine. The sound continues to rise. And Ezekiel, still on his knees, still trembling, watches, unable to look away as the mystery deepens, as the vision unfolds, as something even greater begins to appear above them. So remain here, rest within the wonder, and prepare, gently, for what waits beyond the wheels, above the living beings, where the presence of God is about to be revealed in its fullness. And now, as the wheels continue to move, as the living creatures stand in radiant unity, as the sound of their wings and the rushing presence fills the air, Ezekiel slowly lifts his eyes once more. Beyond the creatures, beyond the wheels, beyond the fire and the flash and light, there is something above. Breathe slowly now. Let your gaze rise with his. Above the heads of the living beings stretches something vast, something immense, something that seems to separate what is below from what is beyond. Ezekiel searches for words, but nothing he knows can fully contain what he sees. It is like an expanse, like a great vault, like a firmament stretching wide across the heavens. It gleams like crystal, clear yet solid, radiant yet still. It shimmers with a brilliance that is both beautiful and overwhelming, as though it holds within it the weight of eternity itself. Light passes through it and yet rests upon it, dancing across its surface in ways that feel alive, sacred, untouchable. Beneath it, the wings of the creatures stretch upward, reaching but never touching, as if even they, in all their power, know to remain below. This expanse is not just space. It is a boundary, a threshold, a meeting place, where creation ends and something greater begins. Breathe in slowly and out gently. And above this expanse, there is a throne. Ezekiel sees it, and his breath catches. It is not made of wood or stone or anything shaped by human hands. It appears like a precious stone, like lapis lazuli, deep and rich in color, a blue so profound it feels like looking into the night sky itself, filled with hidden depths and quiet power. The throne rises high, majestic, radiant. It is not merely a seat, it is a place of authority, of sovereignty, a place where all things are known, all things are ruled. And seated upon the throne, there is a figure. Ezekiel hesitates, even within his own mind, even within the vision, he cannot fully say what he sees. He searches for language, for something that will not overstep, something that will honor the mystery before him. So he describes it as a likeness, the likeness of a man. Breathe slowly now. The form is there, recognizable, and yet far beyond human. From the waist upward, the figure shines like glowing metal, like bronze refined in a furnace until it burns with white-hot intensity. Light radiates from him, not reflected, but originating, pouring outward in waves that illuminate everything around him. It is not harsh, but it is powerful. A light that reveals, a light that cannot be hidden from. And from the waist downward, fire. Living fire. Not destructive, not consuming, but pure, refining, eternal. It burns with a steady brilliance, moving and alive, as though it carries within it the essence of holiness itself. This is not the fire of chaos. This is the fire of God, the fire that purifies, that transforms, that makes all things new. And surrounding the throne, there is a radiance, a circle of light, a glow that encircles everything, like a rainbow, but not faint, not distant, not the pale arc that fades into the sky after rain. This rainbow is alive. Its colors are deep, vibrant, shimmering with intensity. Red, gold, green, blue, each hue flowing into the next, moving gently as though the light itself breathes. And within that radiance, there is meaning, a reminder, a promise. The covenant, the mercy, the faithfulness of God. Even here, in power beyond comprehension, there is grace. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel knows now. This is the glory of the Lord. Not hidden, not distant, but revealed. The same glory that once filled the temple, the same presence that dwelt among his people. Now here, in Babylon, in exile, by a quiet river, God has come. He has not remained behind in the ruins. He has not abandoned his people. He is here. The realization overwhelms him. His strength gives way. His body can no longer hold itself upright under the weight of what he has seen. He falls forward, his face to the ground, trembling, unable to stand before such holiness, such majesty, such presence. He does not speak. He cannot. There are no words. Only awe, only surrender, only the quiet knowing that he stands before something infinite. Breathe slowly now. And in the stillness, beyond the fire, beyond the light, a voice begins to come. Calm, steady, full of authority but gentle, calling him. Son of man. And everything is about to change. And now, as Ezekiel lies face down upon the ground, as the weight of glory surrounds him and the radiance of the throne fills everything he can sense, the sound begins to change. The thunder of wings softens. The roar of the wheels fades into the distance. The fire still burns, the light still shines, but above it all, there is something else. A voice. Breathe slowly now. Let the moment become still. It is not a shout, not a cry of power that overwhelms by force. It is calm, steady, clear, and yet within it there is authority beyond anything Ezekiel has ever known. A voice that does not need to raise itself because all things already listen. Son of man. The words reach him where he lies, pressed into the ground, trembling, aware of his own smallness, his own humanity. The title is simple, almost gentle, and yet it carries a deep reminder. You are human. You are dust and breath. You are small, and yet you are seen. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Son of man, stand up on your feet. The command is spoken without force, and yet it cannot be resisted. Ezekiel does not rise by his own strength. Something moves within him, something not his own, a presence that enters him, lifting him gently, steadily, until he is standing. His legs, once weak, now hold him. His breath steadies. His body remains trembling, but he stands. He stands before the throne of God, and he listens. I am sending you. The words fall slowly, deliberately, each one carrying weight, purpose, direction. I am sending you to the people of Israel. Ezekiel hears, and within him something shifts. This is not a vision for wonder alone, not a moment to witness and forget. This is a calling, a sending, a purpose restored, but not the one he expected. To a rebellious nation, a people who have turned away. The words are not harsh, but they are true. Ezekiel knows this. He has seen it, lived among it, felt it in the silence of exile. The people who once worshipped now question. The people who once trusted now doubt. Their hearts have grown hard, their ears slow to listen. Breathe slowly now. You must speak my words to them. The command is simple. Not persuade, not convince, only speak. Whether they listen or fail to listen, you must speak. Ezekiel feels the weight of it. He was trained to serve in the temple, to offer sacrifices, to follow ritual and order. But this is different. To stand before a rebellious people, to carry words they may reject, to speak truth into hearts that may not receive it. It is a harder calling, a heavier path. And yet, the voice continues. Do not be afraid. The words settle gently, but firmly. Do not be afraid of them. Do not be afraid of their words. Do not be terrified by their faces. Breathe in slowly and out gently. The reassurance is not empty. It is presence, because the one who sends him goes with him. You will speak my words. Again, the command repeats. Not his own thoughts, not his own understanding, but the words of God. And then something appears, a hand reaching out toward him. In the hand, a scroll, unrolled, open, covered with writing on both sides. Ezekiel can see the markings, the lines, the words etched into its surface, and though he cannot yet read them fully, he senses what they carry: lament, mourning, woe. Not easy words, not gentle comfort, but truth. And the voice speaks again. Son of man, eat what is before you. Ezekiel pauses. Eat. The command is strange, unexpected, beyond understanding. Eat this scroll, then go and speak. Breathe slowly now. There is no explanation given, no reasoning offered, only the invitation, the command, the trust. And Ezekiel, still trembling, still standing in the presence of glory, reaches out. He takes the scroll, and slowly he brings it to his mouth. He eats, and as he does, something unexpected happens. It is sweet, like honey, not bitter, not harsh, but sweet, rich, satisfying. The words of God, even when they carry warning, even when they speak of sorrow, are sweet to the one who receives them, because they are true, and truth is always life. Ezekiel swallows, and the scroll becomes part of him, not something he carries in his hands, but something that lives within him. From this moment on, he will not speak from himself. He will speak from what has been placed inside him. Breathe in slowly and out gently. The calling is complete. The vision begins to soften, the light dims slightly, the sound recedes, but the presence remains. Ezekiel stands, changed, no longer just a priest in exile, but a prophet, a messenger, a voice. And though the path ahead will not be easy, though he will be rejected, misunderstood, ignored, he has been chosen. He has been sent, and he will not walk alone. So remain here, in this quiet moment, and let that truth settle gently within you, that the God who calls also strengthens, also stays, and when he speaks, he gives everything needed to answer. And now, as the voice of God settles into the silence, as the vision lingers like a fading light upon the edges of Ezekiel's awareness, we return gently to that moment, the moment that would shape everything that followed. The scroll. Breathe slowly now. Let the memory come forward. It had been placed in his hands, not as something to carry, but as something to receive. Unrolled before him, covered on both sides with words, dense and unending, as though nothing had been held back, nothing left unwritten. And even before he understood it, he felt it, the weight of it, the meaning within it. Not light, not easy, but necessary. Words of lament, words of mourning, words of warning. A message not chosen by man, but given by God. Breathe in slowly and out gently. And then came the command, simple, direct, undeniable. Eat this scroll. It was not a suggestion, not a metaphor to be pondered from a distance. It was something to be done, something to be lived. Ezekiel could have hesitated, he could have questioned, but he had already seen too much, already felt too deeply the presence of the one who spoke. This was not a moment for understanding. it was a moment for trust. So he reached out. He took the scroll in his hands, feeling its presence, its reality, not as a vision alone, but as something tangible, something meant for him. And slowly, reverently, he brought it to his mouth. And he ate. Breathe slowly now. It is a strange image, unfamiliar, and yet deeply meaningful. Because this was not about consuming paper. It was about receiving truth, not from the outside, but into the very core of his being. And as he ate, something unexpected happened. It was sweet, like honey, not bitter, not harsh, but sweet, rich, almost comforting. The very words that carried sorrow, that spoke of judgment, that revealed the brokenness of a people, were sweet to him, because they were true. And truth, when it comes from God, always carries a deeper sweetness, even when it is difficult, even when it challenges, even when it calls for change. Breathe in slowly and out gently. The scroll did not remain in his hands. It did not stay outside of him. It became part of him. This is what it means to internalize the Word of God, not to hear it once and forget, not to speak it without understanding, but to receive it, to carry it, to let it shape every thought, every word, every action, so that when Ezekiel would later speak, it would not be from his own strength, not from his own ideas, but from what had already taken root within him. The word would flow because it lived inside him. Breathe slowly now. There is something gentle here, something deeply important. God did not ask Ezekiel to perform perfectly. He did not ask him to persuade everyone. He did not even ask him to succeed in the way the world defines success. He asked him to receive, to take the word in, fully, completely, without resistance, because only what is received deeply can be given truthfully. And as the scroll settled within him, as its sweetness remained, Ezekiel began to understand something more. Even messages of warning, even words of correction, are given in love. They are not meant to destroy, but to restore, not to condemn, but to awaken. The sweetness was not in the difficulty of the message, but in the heart of the one who gave it. Breathe in slowly and out gently. And so, Ezekiel stood, no longer empty, no longer uncertain, but filled. Filled with words that were not his own, filled with purpose that did not come from within, but from above. From that moment on, he would carry the scroll within him wherever he went. When he spoke, it would speak. When he stood before the people, it would rise within him. When he felt weak, uncertain, overwhelmed, the word would remain steady, unchanging, alive. Breathe slowly now. And perhaps in this quiet moment, there is something here for you as well. Not a scroll placed in your hands, not a voice calling you to stand before nations, but a gentle invitation to receive, to allow truth, peace, presence to settle within you, not just around you, but inside you. So that even as you rest, even as you drift toward sleep, there is something steady within, something calm, something true. You are held. You are seen. You are guided. And just as Ezekiel received what he needed, so too you are given what is needed for this moment. Nothing more, nothing less. only peace, only rest. So let that settle now, like sweetness, like quiet assurance, as your body remains still and your mind grows soft, carried gently into deeper rest. And now, as the sweetness of the scroll settles within Ezekiel, as the calling begins to take root deep inside him, the vision shifts once more, gently at first, and then completely. The river fades. The storm is gone. The throne no longer before him. And suddenly, he is somewhere else. Breathe slowly now. Let the scene change. He is standing in a valley, wide, open, silent. The ground beneath his feet is dry, cracked by time and heat, stretching endlessly in every direction. There is no grass, no trees, no movement of life. The air is still, heavy, carrying a quiet that feels almost absolute. And then he sees them. Bones, everywhere, scattered across the valley floor as far as the eye can see. Not just a few, not scattered remains, but countless, thousands upon thousands. Skulls, ribs, spines, fragments of what were once living bodies, now bleached white under the sun. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel begins to walk. Each step is careful, measured, his feet pressing against the dry earth, the faint sound of bone shifting beneath him as he moves. He looks around, taking it in, the vastness of it, the stillness of it. This is not just death. This is complete loss. These bones are not fresh. They are not recent. They are very dry. Time has passed here, long enough for hope to disappear, long enough for memory to fade. There is no sign of life, no possibility of return, only the quiet certainty that whatever once lived here is gone. And then the voice comes. The same voice, calm, steady, unmistakable. Son of man. Ezekiel stops. Can these bones live? The question hangs in the air, soft yet impossible. Breathe slowly now. Ezekiel looks around again. The answer, by human understanding, is clear. No, bones do not live again. What is dead remains dead. But Ezekiel has seen too much. He has stood before the throne. He has heard the voice. So he does not answer with certainty. O Lord God, you alone know. A quiet surrender, not understanding, but trust. And the voice speaks again. Prophesy to these bones. The command is unexpected. Speak to bones? Call out to what cannot hear? It seems strange, almost impossible. And yet, Ezekiel obeys. He stands in the valley, surrounded by silence, surrounded by death, and he opens his mouth. Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Breathe in slowly and out gently. At first, nothing happens. The valley remains still, unchanged. But then, a sound, faint, almost imperceptible, a rattling, like something shifting, something moving. Ezekiel's eyes widen. The sound grows louder, spreading across the valley, echoing in every direction. Bones begin to tremble, to move, to slide across the dry ground. Skulls roll, ribs lift, spines align. Piece by piece, bone to bone, they come together. The sound builds, a great rattling, a symphony of movement as what was scattered becomes whole again. Skeletons rise, standing upright, row after row, an army forming from dust and silence. But they are still lifeless, standing, yet empty. And the voice speaks again. Prophesy to the breath. Breathe slowly now. Call to the breath, that it may come. Ezekiel lifts his voice once more. Come, O breath, from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live. And then the wind comes, not gentle, not distant, but full, powerful, moving through the valley like life itself returning. It sweeps across the bodies, enters them, fills them, and suddenly they breathe. Chests rise, lungs fill, eyes open. Life returns. What was dead stands alive. An army, vast, countless, breathing, moving, restored. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel falls to his knees, overwhelmed. He has seen the impossible. Death undone, hope restored. And the voice speaks once more. These bones are the house of Israel, a people who believed they were finished, forgotten, cut off. Our bones are dried up, our hope is gone. But God says, I will bring you back to life. Breathe slowly now, and let that truth settle deeply. No matter how dry the bones, no matter how far gone things seem, God can restore. God can breathe life into what feels lost, into what feels broken, into you. So remain here, in the quiet, and feel the breath, the life, the hope returning, gently, steadily, once more. And now, as the valley of bones fades gently from view, as the sound of breath returning to lifeless bodies softens into silence, the vision begins to shift once more, carrying Ezekiel beyond death, beyond restoration, into something new, something yet to come. Breathe slowly now. Let the scene unfold. The dry valley disappears. The air changes. And suddenly, Ezekiel finds himself standing upon a high mountain. The ground beneath him is firm, elevated, overlooking a vast expanse. The air feels clearer here, lighter, filled with a quiet sense of anticipation. This is not a place of sorrow, not a place of death. This is a place of vision. Before him, in the distance, something begins to rise. At first, it appears like a city, shapes and structures forming against the horizon. But as his eyes adjust, as the details sharpen, he realizes it is a temple. Not the temple that once stood in Jerusalem, not the one that was destroyed, but something new, something greater, something yet to be built. Breathe in slowly and out gently. A figure stands beside him, a man, radiant, his appearance like bronze, glowing with a quiet strength. In his hand, a measuring rod and a cord, tools not of destruction, but of design, of order, of purpose. Son of man, the voice says, though it is now carried through this guide, this presence. Look carefully. Listen closely. Pay attention to everything you see. Because this vision is not random. It is precise. It is intentional. It is a promise, written in detail. And so, the measuring begins. The man leads Ezekiel forward, step by step, into the outer wall of the temple. The structure is vast, strong, perfectly formed. Each wall is measured, each line exact, nothing left to chance. Every gate, every entrance, every passageway, measured. The east gate rises before him, steps leading upward, symmetrical, balanced, beautiful in its order. The width, the height, the spacing, all carefully defined, as though every inch carries meaning. Breathe slowly now. They move through the outer court, across open spaces, past chambers and walkways. Everything is aligned. Everything is balanced. There is no chaos here, no confusion. Only order. Divine order. They pass through another gate, into the inner court, closer now, closer to the center, where something sacred waits. The steps are counted, the pillars measured, each space designed with intention. Nothing is forgotten. Nothing is overlooked. Ezekiel watches, absorbing, not fully understanding every detail, but sensing the truth beneath it. This is not just a building. This is restoration. This is what was lost, being made new. Breathe in slowly and out gently. They come to the chambers, places set apart, where those who serve will prepare, where offerings will be made, where holiness will be honored. There is a clear separation between what is sacred and what is common, not to exclude, but to remind that God is holy, that His presence is not ordinary, and yet it is near. They move forward toward the center, where the altar stands. It rises in layers, strong, steady, a place where offerings will be given, where connection between God and His people will be restored. The horns of the altar reach upward, symbols of mercy, of refuge, of power held in compassion. Everything here speaks of return, return to worship, return to presence, return to God. Breathe slowly now. And then they approach the temple itself. The structure stands majestic, larger than before, more glorious, more complete. Its walls shine, its proportions perfect, its presence commanding yet peaceful. They step inside. The space is vast, quiet, filled with a stillness that invites reverence. Ezekiel feels it, that same sense he once knew, the nearness of something holy. Room by room, space by space, it is measured. Even the most sacred place, the inner sanctuary, is revealed. A perfect cube, balanced, complete, and yet empty, waiting. Breathe in slowly and out gently, waiting for the return of glory. Because this temple, though detailed, though precise, is not complete without one thing: the presence of God. And that will come. Ezekiel begins to understand this is not just architecture. This is promise. A promise that God has not abandoned His people. A promise that what was destroyed will be rebuilt. A promise that His presence will return, not in the past, but in the future. Stronger, greater, more complete than before. Breathe slowly now. The measurements continue, the walls surrounding the temple, vast, enclosing the space, setting it apart, a holy place within the world. This is where I will dwell, the voice declares, not briefly, not temporarily, but forever. Ezekiel stands in silence, overwhelmed, not by fear, but by hope. Because after exile, after loss, after judgment, there is restoration, there is return, there is a future. So remain here in this vision of peace and let it settle gently within you, that what feels broken can be rebuilt, what feels lost can be restored, and what feels distant may one day return again. And now, as Ezekiel stands within the vision of the temple, as the walls rise around him in perfect order and quiet majesty, as the promise of restoration settles gently into his heart, something begins to draw his attention once more. Not above him, not around him, but beneath. Breathe slowly now. Let your awareness soften. At the threshold of the temple, just beneath the entrance, there is something small, something easy to overlook at first glance. Water. A gentle trickle, barely more than a stream, flowing outward from the foundation, slipping quietly across the stone, moving eastward with a calm and steady motion. It is not loud, it is not forceful, but it is alive. Ezekiel watches it, curious, still, as it moves away from the temple, as though it carries something with it, something unseen, something sacred. The man beside him, the one with the measuring rod, begins to walk. He leads Ezekiel forward, following the path of the water, and after a short distance he pauses. He measures 1,000 cubits, and then he gestures. Step into the water. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel obeys. He steps forward into the stream and feels it around his feet. It is cool, refreshing, gentle as it flows around his ankles, moving with quiet purpose. It is still small, still easy to cross, but it does not stop. They walk further, another 1,000 cubits. Again, the man gestures. Ezekiel steps in once more. This time, the water rises higher, reaching his knees. The current is stronger now, more noticeable, pulling softly as though inviting him to follow. Breathe slowly now. They continue. Another 1,000 cubits. And again, Ezekiel enters the water. Now it reaches his waist. The flow is steady, undeniable, no longer something that can be ignored. It presses against him, not harshly, but with quiet strength, as though it carries life within it. Something growing, something expanding. And still, it continues. Another 1,000 cubits. But this time, when Ezekiel looks ahead, he pauses. The stream is no longer a stream. It is a river. Wide, deep, powerful. Too deep to cross, too vast to stand against. Breathe in slowly and out gently. What began as a trickle has become something unstoppable. And yet, there are no other sources, no streams feeding into it, no rain filling it. It flows from the temple alone, from the presence of God. Ezekiel stands at the edge, watching the water move, listening to its quiet strength, feeling its life. And then he notices something else. Along the banks of the river, on both sides, there are trees. Many trees, tall, strong, their branches full, their leaves vibrant and green. They stretch as far as the eye can see, lining the river in perfect abundance. But these are not ordinary trees. Their leaves do not wither, their fruit does not fail. They bear fruit, again and again, month after month, without end. Breathe slowly now. The man speaks. These trees, their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing. Healing. Let that word settle. Not just growth, not just life, but restoration. Everything the river touches begins to live. The water flows onward, moving east, descending into the dry and barren places toward the Dead Sea, a place known only for death, for salt, for stillness without life. And yet, when the river reaches it, everything changes. The water becomes fresh. Where there was no life, life appears. Fish fill the waters, creatures begin to move. What was dead is no longer dead. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel sees it, not just as water, not just as a river, but as something more. This is the life of God, flowing outward, expanding, restoring. Wherever it goes, life follows. Wherever it reaches, healing begins. The desert is no longer barren. The Dead Sea is no longer lifeless. Everything is renewed. Breathe slowly now, and perhaps quietly, gently. You can feel it too. Not a river beneath your feet, not water around your body, but a presence, flowing, calm, steady, alive, bringing peace where there was tension, bringing rest where there was weariness. You do not need to chase it. You do not need to force it. It flows freely from the presence of God, and it reaches even here, even now. So remain still. Let yourself rest, and allow that quiet river to move through you, bringing calm, bringing healing, bringing life. As you drift gently, deeply, into peace. And now, as the river of life continues to flow, as its gentle waters bring healing and renewal to everything they touch, as peace begins to settle deeply into the vision, there is one more revelation, one more moment still to come. Breathe slowly now. Let the stillness hold you, because not all things arrive in quiet. Not all endings begin in peace. Far beyond the restored land, beyond the flowing river and the promise of life, something begins to stir. Distant at first, unseen, unheard, but real. A movement, gathering, forming in the far reaches of the earth. The word comes again. Son of man. And Ezekiel sees, not clearly at first, but as a distant vision, like shapes forming on the horizon. Armies, vast and countless, rising from the north, from lands unknown, from nations far away. They have a name. Gog, of the land of Magog. Leaders of many peoples drawn together, united not in peace, but in purpose. Breathe in slowly and out gently. They come like a storm, not the storm of fire Ezekiel saw before, but a storm of men, of movement, of power. Their numbers are great, beyond counting, their presence spreading across the land like a shadow. They move with intention, with force, like a cloud covering the earth, advancing toward a people who now dwell in safety. Israel, restored, living in peace, unprotected, unwalled, trusting, resting. And the armies come. Their purpose is clear: to take, to destroy, to claim what is not theirs. Breathe slowly now. The tension rises. The stillness begins to shift. It feels for a moment like everything that has been restored, everything that has been promised, is once again at risk. Darkness gathers. The armies surround the land, their presence overwhelming, their strength undeniable. From every direction they advance, filling the mountains, covering the valleys, closing in like a tide that cannot be stopped. And for a moment, it seems as though this is the end. But then, the voice speaks, not with panic, not with urgency, but with authority. With you, I will reveal my glory. Breathe in slowly and out gently. And suddenly, everything changes. The earth begins to shake, not lightly, not gently, but with power. Mountains tremble, the ground cracks, the very foundation of the earth responds to the presence of God. The armies, once confident, once united, begin to falter. Confusion spreads among them. Fear rises. They turn not against their enemy, but against each other. Chaos. Swords clash, voices shout. The order they once held dissolves into disorder. What was strong becomes broken. What was unified becomes divided. And still, God moves. The sky darkens. Rain begins to fall, not soft, not gentle, but heavy, relentless. Hail follows, great stones crashing down, and fire, burning, descending from above. The power of heaven unleashed. Breathe slowly now. This is not destruction without purpose. This is justice, not driven by anger alone, but by truth, by holiness. The armies fall, not by the strength of man, not by the effort of those they came against, but by the hand of God. The land is quiet once more. The noise fades. The chaos ends. And what remains is stillness. Breathe in slowly and out gently. Ezekiel sees it clearly now. This was never a battle meant to be won by human strength. This was a moment, a revelation, a final reminder that no matter how great the opposition, no matter how overwhelming the darkness may seem, God has the final word. Always. The nations will see, they will know that He is the Lord. Not distant, not silent, but present, powerful, unshaken. Breathe slowly now. And as the vision begins to soften, as the intensity fades, something deeper remains. Not fear, but assurance. Because even in this final conflict, even in the rising of darkness, the ending is already known. God restores. God protects. God reigns. So you can rest, even when the world feels uncertain, even when things seem out of control. There is one who holds all things. There is one who sees, who knows, who acts in perfect time. You are safe. You are held. And nothing can overcome what He has promised. So remain here, in the quiet after the storm, and let that truth settle gently within you. As peace returns, as stillness deepens, and rest draws near. And now, as the visions gently fade, as the storm quiets, As the river slows into stillness, we come to rest. Breathe slowly now. Let everything soften. You have walked beside Ezekiel. You have seen the heavens open. You have witnessed the fire, the wheels, the throne. And through it all, a truth has remained, steady, unchanging. God is present, even in exile, even in the places that feel distant, even in moments of silence, even when everything familiar has been taken away. He is still there. Breathe in slowly and out gently. God restores what is broken. What was lost can be rebuilt. What was scattered can be gathered again. Nothing is beyond his reach. And even in the valley, even among dry bones, God brings life from death. Let that truth settle deeply within you now. Soft, steady, real. Breathe slowly, and as your body rests, as your mind grows quiet, we gently turn to prayer. Heavenly Father, in this quiet moment we come before you, not with effort, not with striving, but with stillness. We place this night into your hands. Every thought, every worry, every burden, we release them now, gently, completely, trusting that you are holding them for us. Surround us with your peace, a peace that is deeper than understanding, a peace that calms the heart and quiets the mind. Watch over us as we sleep. Guard us through the night. Let your presence rest gently upon us like a covering, like a quiet light in the darkness. If there is any place within us that feels tired, restore it. If there is any place that feels heavy, lift it. If there is any place that feels empty, fill it with your presence. Let our sleep be peaceful, undisturbed, deep, and restoring. And as we rest, remind us, even in the quiet, that we are never alone, that you are near, that you are watching, that you are with us, always. We trust you. We rest in you. In Jesus' loving name, amen. Breathe slowly now. May you rest in Christ always, held in his peace, covered in his presence. God is watching over you, even now, even as you drift into sleep. There is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to carry. Only rest, only peace. And if your mind stirs again, if your thoughts begin to wander, you may gently return once more to this story. Let us return once more to this peaceful story, to the river, to the stillness, to the quiet presence that remains. Allow it to carry you softly, gently, deeper into rest. Sleep well and rest in his presence.